I'm actually visiting my favourite dahlia nursery just outside Romsey. I'm at Gilbert's Dahlias and Tea Rooms here, and it's obviously very windy today. And there's a really, really large, as you can see, eucalyptus here in the dahlia field, which causes a little bit of rustly noise. I'm actually in the dahlia field today, which, as you can see, because of the weather we've had in the UK, is really a little bit behind where it would normally be. Plenty of colour still here in the field for everybody to have a look at. And the reason why I actually come to Gilbert's every year, not only do I absolutely love the team here, Nick was a really, really very kind to join me on an episode of the podcast in season 2. If you want to listen to that at any time, you can. But I find this is by far the best way of actually buying dahlia tubers. Obviously, you can't walk off with them today, but what I can do is go around with my phone. I can go around with a note section on my phone, especially, and I can choose the dahlias that really stand out in the field. Things like, I've just actually gone past one over here. Let's go back around this corner. Lovely to see the dahlias completely in flower and in their natural habitat. Obviously, natural lighting as well, which is really very important. But this one here really caught my eye. This is a very, very lovely one. Look at that. In a catalogue, you wouldn't get to see that. I wouldn't get to see the size and the shape of flower, the colour and the texture there. But a really, really nice one. I'm going to be adding that one to the list this year. And I find it a really good way of going round the field at this time of year. So please do find your local dahlia stockist, especially if they have a field like this. Gilbert's Dahlias here just outside Romsey. They not only have a tea room and a small garden centre, obviously the dahlia field, but also they sell tubers, other bits and pieces, and also cut flowers as well. So you can actually walk off with huge bunches of these flowers as well that you can pick up at the front of the store. This is another one just here that's really caught my attention today. Look at this one. Really lovely pin cushion centre there and that lovely sherbet yellow around the outside. So yeah, that one will be being added to my list this year. Let's show you that one so you actually can see the name of that one. Ah, there we go. That's that lovely, looks like Paso Doble to me. I'm just walking around the field here because it's been so dry. Unfortunately, a lot of the dahlias have been going down with red spider mite, which is very, very common during really dry periods of weather. The fields here are completely unirrigated, so all they've had is natural rain, which we've had very little of over the last few months. Actually, I think it's down to about 15% of what we should have actually had over the last few months we've actually received here in the UK. But I'm going to wander up. This year, Nick has actually divided the field up into several different sections, which is really nice to see. It makes it, for me, a little bit easier to shop, adding all of the different types of dahlias together. So there's a section for giants. So you can see the big yellow one there, a very good favourite of mine is Kelvin Floodlight. That one is one of the big dinner plate dahlias. And then there's a section for smaller, simpler dahlias, the single type and the smaller pom-poms, which I'm finding my tastes are being more and more drawn to now. Octopus Sparkle, which is a really great one. I'm growing this one for the first time at home this year. Look how fun that is. That is really, really lovely. Those petals going right the way back to that stem. It's a really, really fun flower. So that one is Octopus Sparkle. That one is being grown for me for the first time. That one came out of America, I believe. And then all these beautiful little pom-poms. Now, I grow Gypsy Night at home, which is a really nice little one. You can see this one, poor little thing, really affected quite badly by those red spider mites, but something that you get a lot of during the very, very warm months of the year. It's funny, I've just spoken to Nick in the field, and actually there's one over here called Purple Fox. If you can see that one, that pom-pom there. And he said, "Oh, it's Purple Fox at home." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Yours are huge." And mine are coming up to about 4 inches in diameter, each pom-pom. And they're here. I'll take you around and show you in just a moment. They're really very small. So traditionally about sort of 2 inches across. Look at those. They're so, so very, very pretty. But this is a great way, I say, of walking around the field. Look at that. That is just absolutely adorable. Absolutely perfect in its symmetrical makeup. Look at those petals. They're just absolutely adorable. That one is Rocco. But it's really nice to see them lined up, and you can get the gist as well of how, for instance, the display is going to come together. Whether you plant your dahlias in pots, or it's like me, if you're actually growing dahlias very, very specifically for cutting, it's really nice to see what the colours and the forms will look like together in a vase. So you can be a little bit crafty sometimes. Not something I would suggest you do, but difference is you could maybe pick a flower off of this one and you could take that one along to something else. So if you're planning on, for instance, a wedding or a coordinated color event, that's a really useful thing to see the flowers side by side. And I find it really useful to see not only the color, but also the form, the different textures. So as you probably saw from a video I uploaded yesterday of a short of particular types of dahlias of me with a huge bunch, it's nice to see the different colors and textures and forms together to bring together an actual arrangement. Now, I like mixing them all up, but that's not obviously that's something a lot of people like to do. They like to theme them. So coming out to the field at this time of year and having a look at them in the field is a really good idea. This one, I say purple fox, that's one of those, a little pom-pom, this well, medium-sized pom-pom, should be something in the region of about 2.5 inches in diameter. Mine at home, so big, they're up to about 4 inches in diameter. You can see here in the field showing much more of a natural growth habit. Red cap, I've got that one at home already. Nick has asked me today whether he can actually have a little few of the tubers that I've got at home, because I've got some really good ones that I've had for quite some time. So I'm going to be doing some exchanges with him. So you'll be seeing some Garden of Ben dahlia tubers making their way into the stock here at Gilbert's over the next couple of years, because I've got some really nice ones. They're saying that Nick hasn't got lovely ones because they're beautiful. But and round here, we pointed at this one from afar. This is one of my favourites to go in the garden. Again, this is really interesting to see just because of the size, the water levels we've had. That one is Kelvin Floodlight. That one is a dinner plate dahlia. At home comes up for me about 12 to 14 inches in diameter. You can see here in the field, they're struggling to get more than about 2 or 3 feet high. Mine's about 8 foot at home, so absolutely ginormous. And that's just because obviously got the irrigation system, which is pumping on virtually unlimited water. The only problem with that, as I said to Nick today in the field, that when we have weather like we're experiencing today and you get a little bit of wind, mine obviously come up really tall because I've got the irrigation system and they're not used to taking the wind and the rain. So what you end up doing is on a day like today, when I go home, I'm going to find an awful lot of them have collapsed because you simply can't keep them upright. A lot of mine stretching up to sort of 8 feet tall sometimes, which gives me unbelievably great big long stems, but makes them particularly vulnerable to the kind of weather we're having today. I'm going to turn the camera around because this one's really caught my eye. Look at that one. This one is called Snowbound. Beautiful form on that one, a really, really lovely color. Good stem length. That one is going to go on the list for me today. So that one is Snowbound. Every single year I do this, I come to the dahlia field and I walk around and look at the new varieties that Nick is adding. And I have a really good look at them. Again, this one is one that I got from Nick. It's not a new variety, but this is one I got from Nick a few years back. That one is Great Hercules, which has caused a little bit of a stir on some of my posts because, again, it's really, really lovely. I'll turn the camera around so you can have a good look at that. Look at the swirl on this one. Those petals going all the way back in that lovely sort of candy cane ripple effect on the back of them. Really, really nice one. This one's caught my attention as well, and I don't really go for this shaggy look of dahlia because I find them a little bit unpredictable when they get wet. But this one really is quite fun. Again, I'll give you the name of that one if that one catches your eye. But I say, for me, this is the best way possible of growing, of buying dahlias, adding them to my list during this time of year, getting to know the colour and the form. I find that buying them from a local stockist, if I have a problem with my dahlias, Nick is always there and the team is always here for me to call upon. But it's really easy to get these things mixed up and they work in very small batches here, very, very organized. So you're unlikely to be disappointed. And there's so many times I've bought dahlias online and I've got them and they've grown. And after 4 or 5 months of growing and nurturing, you realize you haven't got what you set your heart on in October before when you actually order them. And that is really, really quite upsetting. So I find this is a really good way. So if you have a local field near you at home, I suggest you do that because it's safe. A really, really nice way of going out and having a look. You can see all the lovely colour, all the lovely forms of different flowers and the different sizes. And I find for bringing together floral arrangements, it's a really, really great way of doing it. This one again has caught my attention. Very similar to Great Silence. That one is Pink Runner. Now I've got Red Runner at home, and that one is a really nice one. I have to just try and stay away now from these big blousy ones. I'm really drawn to the huge dinner plate dahlias, but that one I think is going to have to make it onto the list. That one is really, really lovely. That one is that the name just there. But again, that lovely white one that I spotted just a second ago there. I'm going to have to definitely get that one, and maybe a couple of tubers for me next year. And once again, we're back to some smaller pom poms. That one is Mystery Fox. Look at the colour of that, mixing really well with things apricots and burnt oranges. actually planted alongside a nice apricot here as well. So I wanted to share with you very quickly the walk around here in the field at Gilbert's Dahlias. Do find them on social media if you're interested in this assay. They're based in Romsey, just out well, Romsey, in Hampshire. Again, another one. There's so many lovely dahlias. Look at this. This one, Amiga. Look at the colour of that. If you're bringing together a coordinated bouquet with pinks, apricots, or yellows, that's a really good blending one. Again, look at the stems. Really nice. This is really important to me because there's someone who cuts them to bring into the house. I want the plant to be stocky, I want it to be strong, and I want those stems to stand up. So a really, really nice one. Amiga, certainly going on the list for me today. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the very, very quick and brief wander around the field here at Gilbert's. I'll turn around so you can see it all stretched out behind me. It's really, really lovely. They've got a fabulous tea room here. So if you did want to come and enjoy a ploughman's, it's a great place to enjoy a very traditional and very basic ploughman's. A great set of cakes. Nick's wife actually runs the cafe here. So you can get yourself some nice food while you're here. Spend a day walking around the field. It's free to get in. Absolutely free to get in. They do ask if you wanted to make a donation to charity. Let's have a look at see who this year's charity is. I'm not aware who it is yet. Who are we? No leaflets. Oh, there we go. This year, it's Romsey Dementia Action Group is their chosen charity. So all proceeds of charity donations going to that local charity this year. Anyway, right, please excuse the noise. So that wind has really picked up, and for the first time in a very, very long time, we're experiencing a little bit of rain. We haven't had any rain for months and months and months here on the south coast of the UK. Anyway, I will see you all again soon. Thank you very much for joining me. Take care now. Bye bye.